Scandal, you can't take command review. This is very, very late because that's what happens when moving and having no Wi-Fi happens at the same time as as everything. But let's just sing. I loved this episode. Obviously I loved this episode. I came in with this episode having doubts. I was expecting nothing. I'm like, okay, this episode, the best I can hope is that she doesn't run off with Jake again. I'm like, that's the best that I can hope. She's definitely, in my mind was like, okay, maybe there'll be an olitz moment, but I'm not counting on it, so I'm just hoping that Russell will die and Jake will just leave her alone. But this episode, there was so much more in it than I thought there could be. From start to finish, I actually really, really loved it. So I would just like to say, okay, Melly, how did you not know that that was a fake name? That name that Rowan used was just ridiculous. And then her obviously giving the names and all the jurors dying, and that was, yeah. I was like, okay, yep, of course, he's not going to go down without a fight. And then the phone call. So first off, the phone call, I was happy with that. Like, literally, I was like, okay, that's all we're going to get, and then she's just going to go to be her in an apartment by herself. But, oh my goodness, that phone call, I loved it. That was just so cute, and him, like, she's just always said that she's wanted him to be the president, that she knows he is. She just wants the whole world to see that. So she was to say that she was proud, and he was so happy with that. And that moment was just so cute. And this fact was just in the middle of just the White House, and just in the hallways of the White House. It was just so cute. And yeah, so that was just cute. It was just so cute. And then there was, I even loved, like, Olivia's rant that she did to Jake. I was like, I feel that on so many levels. I loved that rant. That rant was just perfect. And, of course, Kerry Washington just acted it perfectly, because Kerry Washington needs a freaking Emmy. Get her that freaking Emmy. But I loved it. And then, so I was first off, I was like, oh my goodness, Huck killed the Jewess. And then we don't even know if Quinn killed him or not, but I was like, oh my goodness. I'm like, okay, I'm already shocked enough by this episode. Please just, I'm already like, what? And then, but we don't even know what happens there. And then Fitz kicking Cyrus and Melly out of the White House. I was like, finally. At least for Cyrus, I was really finally, because I like Cyrus as a character in the show. Like, I'm glad he's there. I wouldn't want him to not be in the show, but I hate him. I'm like, he's not a friend to you and Olivia, and I was so glad that he kicked him out and fired him. Oh my goodness, so brilliant. And then kicking Melly out. Okay, well, it's not a divorce. Hopefully they will get to the divorce. It's still amazing. I'm like, oh my goodness. And to all the and it was just perfect. I just loved it. And yeah. And then Lizzie, I'm not sure about Lizzie. She's totally, there's something, her being Fitz chief of staff, it feels a bit weird, but I'm sure she's up to something. You have to be. She was in cahoots with Andrew before, so I'm like, she's not all good. She's not the kind of all Scandal good, because there isn't really good in Scandal, but you know, the Scandal version of good. She's not that kind of version of good, so there's something there. And she totally, and her telling Fitz, I was like, oh, you're cheeky. Because I'm like, you're not stupid, so you knew that Fitz didn't know, but of course you wanted to tell him, because you knew something was going to happen. But oh my goodness, I love that. And oh, I felt so bad. Cyrus, I was like, oh my goodness, using the fact that, oh, I've forgotten I always forget his name. Oh, David, that David is still in love with Abby, and I was like, that's so cruel. But then David's just annoying anyway. But then, and there was just so many things that happened, and like, because I was like, and Jake and Olivia even been in jail for a little bit. I was like, whoa. But then I was like, it's fine. She's not going to be there for long. And then obviously, like, when he said to Cyrus, Fitz said to Cyrus all the things that he'd done. I'm like, you don't even know the half of it. If you knew that he tried to kill Olivia, you probably would have just, I don't know, but you would have done more. But I'm still so happy that he's fired. And this has been a mess of a review, but it always is. But there wasn't enough Abby. Well, there's never enough Abby. Well, there's just like, I just feel like Shonda lied again, because she is a liar sometimes. She said this would be the season of Abby, and there was like maybe 1 or 2 episodes. Actually, really 1 that was an episode of Abby. I just feel like I feel like she's not being of use. Like, she could be more, she could be doing more. But I'm glad, but in this episode it made sense, but still. And then, Olivia Pope Strutt always gets me, and how she can't, she goes, I can't take command, but I can take Eli Pope. Please. And how she walked out, and that jacket and her hair, and I was just like, wow. And then, yeah, and then they got back to the apartment, and I was like, oh my goodness, she's gonna bring Jake in. Oh, not again, not again. But I know why. She just doesn't want to be alone. It's not because she loves him, obviously. Yeah, to any of you stupid lake people who think that she loves Jake. Really? Really? No, she loves Fitz with all her heart. And I'm always going off track. But then I was so surprised when Jake didn't go in. I'm like, oh, this is the only time I'm gonna like you. This is the only time I'm gonna like you, because you're, Delia, I'm out. You can't use me as just a toy, because that's basically what Olivia uses Jake as, a toy for when she's bored or lonely or horny. So I was like, okay, yeah, Jake, this is the only time I will like you, because you're saying, yep, you don't love me, you love him. You're owed, go take it. And then I started getting really worried, but when she started thinking about like all the, like her, when she flashbacks to things, but then it's watching it, like she's just seeing herself alone. That's not that's not what she wants. And then yeah, and then when Fitz went to her house and she wasn't there, and I was like, oh my goodness. And then I started doubting myself. I'm like, oh my goodness, what if she wants to be alone? What if she's gonna go to an island by herself? And I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, okay, that would be really bad, but at least that'd be better than going to an island with Jake again. But I was still like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. And then when he was walking through the hallways, it was too close to season 3, and I started getting really upset for him. I was like, oh my goodness, this is gonna be so bad, and this is gonna have to be on a hiatus, and I'm gonna be just depressed, and this is gonna be so bad. But then he walked in, rather than going to his bedroom or somewhere else, he goes to the balcony, and then I'm like, oh my goodness, no, something's gonna happen. Something good's gonna happen. I know something good's gonna happen now. But even though I knew something was gonna happen, when she goes, he sighs, and then she goes, nice view, I literally just broke down in tears. I'm pretty much gonna break down in tears just thinking about it. Literally, it was just nice view, and I was already like sobbing. I fell off my chair and was on the floor crying. And I was at school because we didn't have Wi-Fi. I was at school in the school library, and everyone around me just looked at me like, what? I was a mess. I was a full-on mess for like forever. I'm still a mess, but it's just died down now, but it's still a mess. But I was literally a mess for like 6 hours. I got kicked out of the library because I was like still there after closing time, just like a mess, rewatching the last 3 minutes. But then it was like, just talk about the last bit, it was just perfect, because not only was there the nice view, and he looked, and he was literally so shocked. He was sure he was dreaming. And then the high, I was like, yes, high as ours again, it's olitz again. And then there was after that, and the song was perfect. I'm like, see, O lake shippers, the sun is in yours, the light, the sun is olitz, everything is olitz, a lake is nothing. And yeah, but that song was perfect. It was so perfect, because she is his sunshine and he's her sunshine, and it's just perfect. And then the high, and then how like the you're here, and that, and I'm here, and the nod she did to reassure, like to double reassure him that she was there. And the way she's like walked over to him, or sexy walks, talking about the other, how she got in a way, how she got there. And then the kiss, how she had to start the kiss because he was still in disbelief that it was there, and how it was so soft at first, and then it was just so perfect. And then obviously he lifted her up, and then it went back, and you see the whole White House, and then on the balcony, and it was just perfect. Oh. go die in fields.